to burp. Hold on.
That's okay, because I think I need to change a setting here, so don't worry about it.
I guess it's still down there. I'll save it.
That's not right. Hang on. Check one. Okay, we're on there. Wavelength stream. Boom. And 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It's Lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode, 296, is titled The Importance of Healing. And in this episode, we're probably going to delve into some of the current events that have happened today. And so we're not exactly sure where we're going with this, but why is it important for us to heal from our emotional hurts is what we were going to talk about. And we believe it's pretty apt, and we will make it work. Can't we just get past it? And what if we don't get past it? We'll be talking about that at the table this evening. So pull up a seat at the table and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later on YouTube at Lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what specifically is this podcast about?
At the table, we strive to love one another and help you to do the same. Some weeks we will have someone join us so that you can get to know them and learn a little bit about yourself in the process. Other weeks, we dive into a topic. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. And that is what we do. And that's what we're doing tonight. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is
Lunchtime in Rome.
Rome.
I'll go first.
No, oh, come on. There.
I'll go first.
Brian, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, so it's been an incredibly strange 6 or 7 days for me. I feel like I got sucked into a Tarantino movie a little bit.
Sure.
Last Thursday was progressing great, and then I had a really intense conversation with somebody I'm very close with.
Important.
Very important person, and it was kind of like the analogy is I always knew this person is a lion, and I'm kind of the lion tamer or handler. And 99% of the time, we work well together. But this person is still a lion and a wild animal at heart. And when they slash out at you, you can get hurt by that. And so we had this moment on Thursday, and I'm sitting at my office, in my office, just processing the conversation that just happened and the ramifications.
It was that soon after.
Yeah, it was about I don't know, 15 minutes, and just processing the ramifications, just trying to think, second, third, fourth order of how what the fallout of this conversation is going to be, or thinking I know, which we could talk about a little bit more. But I hear a boom, and
that's an understatement.
I mean, it was a little bit muffled. It wasn't a bomb going off.
Got it.
It was very much something blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk outside, and I look at the pool, and I see this steam or something coming from the pool area. And I walk up, and all of my pipes are blown out from the heater on my pool into the ground. And there's steam coming out, and I hear this like hissing and crackling sound. So I go up, and what I think is steam is actually, I'll get into this a little bit more. It's actually gas.
A chemical reaction. What happened was we bought a different kind of chlorine, which, long story short, at a certain point in the year, when you put chlorine pucks in, the first part of the year you use chlorine pucks that have stabilizer, and then you don't need stabilizer anymore once your pool gets stabilized. So I was talking to Lex 2 weeks ago. I said, can we buy non-stabilized chlorine pucks? Makes
Sure enough,
nothing but sense.
They have them out there. However, I didn't know that you can't mix them. So we got them during the course of the day.
You can't mix a non-stabilized with a stabilized.
Yes.
Got it.
And we have our chlorinator, which is it's a little container that you put the chlorine in, and the water goes through it, and you filters out into the pool, and it chlorinates your pool. And so
dropped a couple pucks in earlier in the day, didn't think about it, and then once the filter shut off, because I have it on a timer, once that thing shut off, the reaction started, and nobody was up there. So
Thank goodness nobody was up there,
dude. And so it blew up, and there's this gas coming out, which I think is just steam. I rush over and I shut the propane off because thank God that didn't blow up.
Oh my gosh!
Because if that blew up,
because that's not your grill 5-gallon or
no,
whatever.
it's a 100-gallon propane tank, which is right
gas.
next to my kitchen.
Yeah.
In a metal container. I mean, it's a bomb next to my house. Thank God that didn't blow up. But I'm up there and I'm breathing in what I think is steam or mist, and then I open up the chlorinator and I get a whiff of this thing.
Yeah. Harsh on the throat.
And the lungs. And so the next night I go play hockey. I play 3 games, can barely stand, I can barely move, I'm just weak. And I'm like, what is going on? And I tell Lex how bad I played and how I felt Saturday morning. She starts looking into it. I made mustard gas. The reaction between those 2 different chemicals and the hot water that was in the chlorinator turned into mustard gas.
Wow.
And so
Which
I
is a
literally,
bioweapon for those of you who aren't.
yeah,
aware.
they banned it in war.
Okay. Well, they did ban it.
So they did
Right,
ban
yeah.
it. So
You will do anything to excuse away a bad night of goaltending.
man, I mean, it was playable.
Could have been you.
It was playable, you know.
Did you still win?
No, I won 1 game, I lost 2.
Yeah.
Because I had
mustard
nothing
gas.
by the
You had
third.
mustard gas
By
in
the
you.
third game, I had nothing. I was literally gassed.
Superhero.
And then so I'm just
Wow, dude.
I'm working through a whole bunch of stuff mentally about this over the weekend. Sunday morning was a beautiful morning in the park of worship outside,
Yeah, it
and
was.
I mean I kind of just needed to let go, and I did.
It was a gorgeous morning.
And and the thing about this, the thing about after it blew up, and I knew what happened, I went, okay, these 2 are definitely related. This is definitely not about my heater blowing up, my thing blowing up, or having this conversation. There's something much deeper going on.
You've been way too close to too many explosions lately.
One's too many, and this is 2.
So, but I also was telling Jay last night, I think that I don't want to say I prayed for this, but I've been praying recently because I was in this place of, while I'm doing a lot of things, I've been struggling with, am I just doing busy work, God? It feels like I'm doing busy work in a lot of cases. and it was kind of like God was saying, yeah. But anyways, I began to ask for, well, is there more? Can we do more? And I feel like now what's been set in motion since Thursday is, I think, Jay, you asked me how I was last night. I was like, evolving. I'm evolving. And I really feel like this is a moment where God is saying, yep, it's time to level up. That doesn't mean that things you were asking for are going to happen great. And like, they're not going to land in your lap.
Right.
We're going to go through some things.
Sure.
But I feel like it's the beginning of something
different.
And it's just been a wild couple of days for me. And
there's some healing in that relationship that was bad last
we
Thursday.
had a great,
I'm interested to hear more about that.
Well, Bernice, she's been going through it.
man, Bernice, but she could be a lion, she will just lash out at, we'll talk more, but man, it's been a wild ride, and there's a lot of big things in motion that, I mean, it's, I don't know what's going to happen.
No.
Wow.
No.
So, but overall, I mean, I'm very grateful, and I'm excited about where I'm at, and
You're not feeling like you're just treading water.
No, I don't. But there's a reality to life right now. There's some big realities, and there's a lot of different levels those realities are on, and I'm here for it. I'm excited about evolving.
Yeah. Wow. Maggie's started softball for fall ball.
Fall ball.
And she had practice the other night, and I decided, you know what? Instead of just like sitting here watching like the whole time, and I'm gonna practice throwing. So
Attaboy.
Pennis
Park.
Yeah,
Yep.
right down like outside of the outfield, just throwing back and forth. And man, I was doing so great. and I was feeling it.
And you should let everybody know you've been really working
been really working on
specific techniques.
Yes,
not
my
just
form,
repeating.
my grip, all of it, changing everything the way I play disc golf. And it's really starting to click, and it felt really good. Played the other afternoon with Joe and Jay over lunch. Played horribly.
Yep.
But this morning,
Oh, I don't know this.
this morning, Mel, my specialist,
yeah.
who I love very much, once a year, which
She
we're
needs-
going to do more than once a
She's got
year.
to sit at the table.
Yeah, I don't know if she wants to.
Okay, she should not.
She does not listen to podcasts, which is interesting.
Yeah.
She's a big reader though. She read,
Sure.
Yeah, because we talked about she read
Yep.
your book like
Great review.
like in a day and left a wonderful review. But once a year we do our SEO team building exercise and go disc golfing at Shenley Park, and I didn't play great. On number 2,
Longest
though,
hole.
I ripped it,
Nice.
but overturned the detour.
Oh, sure.
And I was, if the pin was right in the corner, because they were all short today. If it was right in the corner, I would have been chipping a putt, which for me
Oh, yeah.
is incredible. Like normally I'm bogey on that hole every time if the pin is there.
Sure.
But
So it's in there.
it's and then number 11. You know number 11?
Sure.
It's the hole after you play the downhill hole. After you go into the woods, you play that short downhill hole,
Across
and then
the
number
road.
11 is
Through the woods.
through the straight.
Got you.
Got the
Yeah.
detour out. 15 feet from the basket with my backhand, which I've never done that with my forehand. So it's coming along, and I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
So it's very, very fun, and
Disc
it's
golf
just
in Rome.
and I've been walking in. I've been walking in the morning, do about 2 miles, and then if we do disc golf at lunch, it's like a guaranteed 10,000 foot step day. So working on my health and all that fun stuff. And yeah, Maggie started softball at her first game last night. Had a really good time. Had a really good discussion with some new parents that are joined the team. They live close by on Macbeth. They go to Penn Hills Baptist though. But
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's what's his name?
yeah, but yeah, we'll try to get them over. They're closer. They're right on Macbeth. You know,
Makes sense.
It's walkable. But no, good time. And and they lost by 1, but Maggie's been playing first base and looking good, and she wants it so bad. She wants to play first base, and she's very excited about it. And,
So cool that she's like into it.
Oh, she wants all the action. She wants first base so bad. So yeah, good times.
I also have some really positive
Yay.
updates. Yeah, and it's really just I won't say just. I'm not going to qualify it that way. I am feeling so good. Like work is just like meaningful and synonym, but purposeful. Amy and I we're getting into our routine, and we've got our like times carved out that are me and Amy time that we've, like we are
Back on the schedule.
right back on it, and making sure that we've got like things accounted for, like emotionally, like, time together. And like I would describe myself right now as it's been busy, but I feel like it's like that healthy kind of tired after you like
Oh, yeah.
go out and do something. And
Yeah.
you're just like, whew, that was a good day.
Non-guilty tired.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
gratifying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like the tightness of the anxiety and things. It's just like the
Put in your
loose-
work and
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's
I mean,
a good feeling.
That's it. So I said just
Yeah.
because it was short, but it's big too.
Yeah, because so often you come in here with, I'm a little anxious about this, or I'm feeling bad about that, or everything else.
Do you think there's any correlation?
And I don't mean that negatively at all. Like,
No, I get it.
Yeah, that's true. But do you think there's any correlation to you doing more around school? Because last week you were talking about feeling kind of guilty that
Yep.
people, what are they thinking about me? Do you think that there's any correlation to you doing more, making it more purposeful, making it, I don't know.
Yes, and I'm working on the whole like guilt thing. And Jay had some really good advice regarding like.
It's a little strong. I mean, I had to be careful.
What'd you say? Just don't be guilty? Don't feel guilty?
You had to be strong as to. You mean in like?
Well, but basically what I said to him last night was, I said, you worrying about, am I doing too much? Am I offending people? Am I hurting? Am I stepping on toes? And I'm like, you're actually being really selfish because you're not saying, here's how I can serve. Here's how I can help. You're worried about you the entire time and not, and if you're really worried, go up to somebody and say, hey, do you care if I do this? But you're in your own head, obsessed with yourself. That's a pretty hard thing to say to somebody.
But you've earned the right.
You're like, that wasn't
Yes,
clear
but
last night. Now you're a
You've earned
jerk.
the right.
Right. No, of course. Yeah, and Jay's like earned the right, but also.
Oh, I said something else that was good. Okay.
No, it doesn't. It's not like it's the only time. It was almost more of a reminder, and I don't mean you've come at me that way before, but like in general, like you've preached on that idea. You know what I mean?
Of not being so self-consumed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just that's how I took it as just like a healthy reminder.
Oh, it
and,
was. It is.
yeah.
It's look outward, don't look inward. Like, hey, how can I help? And if somebody comes up at you and says, that was my job, you can go, wow, I'm really sorry.
And I just felt good because you were thinking about me. So
Oh, yeah.
that was, you know what I mean? Like that was win-win.
That's important. You're important.
Oh.
I could talk for about an hour about updates, but I'm going to do snippets, and that is contact work, hanging out at the school is, and I've mentioned Young Life is all these puzzle pieces, and I just don't know how they go together, but they're so exciting. Well, we're starting to see how they go together, and that is so exciting. And we're going to be doing something, Young Life programmatically during the school year has two things: Bible study, which is called Campaigners, and the outreach event, which is called Club. But the traditional club doesn't really work anymore. So what does that look like? And so we're going to do something really unheard of and intentional. And I could talk about that at another time. We'll see if it works. But I was like, aha, that's it. Okay, that puzzle piece goes here. And so I'm excited about that. And contact work every day at the food pantry at the school is just such a riot. Like, last week, this kid cut, and there's a line to get their food, the athletes, and he cut. And I said, "Did you cut?" And he goes, "No." And I don't know him well, but I looked at him and I said, "You know what?" I said, "Cutting is one thing." I said, "But lying to me, that's a different thing." Ooh. And I gave him dad eyes, and he just put his head down and he went and got in the back of the line.
Yeah.
Well, now this other kid who I do know kind of well cut yesterday, and I gave him the same line, and he was like, "Nah, I don't care." And so then today he cuts again. And I said to him, you realize, I am never, he's a football player, I'm never going to announce the name of a cutter. I said, I don't care how many tackles you make, I'm not going to announce your name. And okay, big hubbub, whatever. Well, then he's really amped up. Well, then the kid from Friday, the amped up kid from today, he was just pointing out anything anybody was doing wrong. And so the other kid, Davon, he goes, "Man, why is Mikey snitching? Why are you snitching on why is he snitching on everybody?" And I said, "Davon," I said, "Mikey was reprimanded twice, both yesterday and today, for cutting." I said, rather than having the confidence to look inward and perhaps elevate himself by maturing, I said, he's looking outward and trying to push everybody else down and make himself feel better that way. And Davon looked at me and I was like, that's too much for you, and I understand that. I could have been speaking in Mandarin. It didn't matter. But then we both laughed and moved along. So there's all that. Yesterday we had a trustees meeting at the church. Izzy Marone watched online a church safety seminar, which to a degree applies to today. Two things that he said that he learned. I mean, he learned about 5 or 6. Call it your safety team, not your security team, because then there's liability issues and whatnot.
And
but
Jesus is our security.
they didn't say that.
Oh,
but
okay.
2 things that apply to people on this table, and I wanted to bring up very quickly. One was, he said, and it's a no-brainer, your live stream should be 10 to 15 minutes delayed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And you should advertise it as such. Because those who would cause a catastrophic event want to do it where they know it's going to be live. And I was like,
Okay.
and I was like, that makes nothing
Yeah.
but sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this might be the
I'm
smartest
sad
thing.
that we're thinking about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one
It's-
was you should have signs on your church property that say firearms prohibited unless previously authorized.
Insurance
because
purposes?
No.
I get it.
Why do you get it?
Because it's an implication to somebody reading the sign that
do-
somebody's authorized.
Somebody's
Right.
packing, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but it's two. That's the second part. But the first part is if you're somebody who is nervous around guns, you go, okay, all right, they take this seriously here. But then
Right.
also, if you're somebody who's going to choose to do harm, you go, somebody here's got a gun.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But let's not talk about reaching people for Christ. Let's not talk about keeping people secure in a church or smart church leadership. Disc golf. The other day at lunchtime on number 4, which goes right alongside the church driveway, I said, I've been throwing just over. Can I throw it 5% less? And I chained out.
Okay.
Wow.
It was as close. It's the closest hole-in-one I've had without having a hole-in-one, which I've had 2.
And
The
stayed
one-
in
yeah,
bounds.
yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 4. Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
just left. I mean, no, it didn't stay in. It stayed 1 foot
was
over. I mean, and
unbelievable.
it was
Skipped off the front of the chains.
dead center, a quarter inch left, and it just fell out left. Also, Joe and I played today,
It was a
and
great throw.
we played 2-man scramble at Monroeville before. Our goal was 9 under, and we shot 1 under a couple weeks ago. So we went out today, and I will say this: I played phenomenally. He played well.
Wait, you played up at the church or Monroeville?
Monroeville.
Okay, got it.
And we finished at 9 under par.
Oh, nice.
So we improved our score by 8.
Oh,
And you
doubles,
hit
I
the
get
goal
it.
that you wanted.
Okay.
2-man scramble.
But-
so you both throw off the tee. You both throw a second shot until you're in the basket.
Okay.
But-
By 8.
Yeah. We hit our goal of 9 under.
And you played phenomenal. Was it like your best round?
It would have been. I mean, I was looking at it. If I look at what help did he have, whatever else. But see, there's things like on number 1, we had a downhill 40-foot putt. Now, to be fair, he went first and missed, and it rolled away to about 30 feet. But then I just jammed it in from 40 feet. There's no way I'm running that.
Right.
If I'm playing by myself.
Right,
But I
right.
threw well enough to probably be 5 or 6 under, which my best there is a 1 under. So,
That's awesome.
however, on hole number 13T, you come up the big hill, and we stopped and caught our breath, and Joe got his phone out and said, "Holy cow, Dad, Charlie Kirk was shot, and he's probably going to die." So I got my phone out, and I had to witness the video of him dying. I saw it, which, Eric, you said you saw it.
Yeah.
What a surreal moment. And, I'm grateful for people like Mary Lynn, Bethany, Ashley, Larianne, Breaking 90, and Groot, who sit at the head of the table each and every week and make it possible for us to do this. They get the credit. We're just the people that have the mouth. And so if you want to sit at the head of the table, please go to lunchtimeinrome.com and become a paid subscriber, just like they did. But that's where I want to go today, because it was such an impactful moment and surreal moment for me on many levels. And to be there with Joe was special and intimate. Like we prayed, like we prayed on the disc golf course. And it was something. And so I just want to know first what your guys' reactions and where were you? And I think it's one of those moments in U.S. history.
Do you want to, for those that don't know,
So for those who are internet, I don't know.
I mean, who he is,
Right.
what
So go ahead. You can do it.
he founded Turning
Point.
Point USA, which probably a little over 10 years ago now, maybe 15 years ago. This kid really saw that free speech was becoming a problem on campuses. And so he just began to have debates, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean,
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
but I think I'm going to point this out eventually anyhow, but he began having civil discourse.
Right.
Civil discourse.
Debate is even almost too much.
Sure.
I guess by definition it is.
But that's really what a debate should be, is a civil discourse.
okay.
I mean,
Right.
like you should be able to discuss anything as strenuously as possible, and
Right.
and you don't have to agree, but there
Right.
should be a discourse. And so that's what he became known for, and he built an entire organization around that. And it's been an amazing thing to watch. And the First Amendment is something that we are blessed in the United States to live with. You see what's happening in the UK right now. There's 30 arrests a day for tweets.
People tweeting and
Chris, are you aware of that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, in
More
the
arrests in the UK than in Russia for speech or really thoughts.
Yeah, it really is becoming
people have
1984
been-
thought police.
People that are attacked by immigrants from other countries and say, I was attacked by, will be arrested because it's hate speech against that other country.
Or a minority protected class kind of a thing.
Yes.
And so, but anyways, I would say what Charlie Kirk was known for was the bringing the free speech and civil discourse and debate platform onto campuses, and he was one of the first people to really go viral, and he's just he had one of the best, most, I think, nimble minds of to be able to debate like that in a public setting where it would just be him and maybe somebody else sitting in a booth while you have this massive crowd.
Hundreds, if not thousands.
Yeah, and it could be all over the board, from things like abortion to gun rights to, I mean, you name it. And he would just very, very quickly and with grace. He was
Very gentle.
Yeah, never, maybe not never, but he was always very well reasoned, and it was, to me, like the peak epitome of a civil discourse and what it should be. And he just got so much, just so much vitriol for it. So that's who he, in a nutshell. I mean, when I think of him, First Amendment on campus, which, yeah, and so many people have come out of his organization and have made a difference for free speech.
And you're aware, and do you feel like this is a where were you moment?
I do. I mean, and I don't think it's going to be that. I think that there's going to be a certain majority of the people that feel that way, and then there's going to be people that like whatever.
Okay.
But for me, yeah, I mean, definitely. I was in the middle of a meeting today, and the person presenting through Teams, they moved. They were sharing their screen, and they swapped screens, and they had the Yahoo or whatever, and it right in the middle it said Charlie Kirk shot dead or whatever it said, and I'm like, what? So I like looked at my phone while I'm on the meeting, and yeah, I mean, so for me, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a huge loss. I think it's just evidence of evil and evidence of a mind virus that has overtaken our society. Regardless of what you think about the guy, it's a tragedy. 31 years old, I think 2 kids, wife.
3. He just had another one.
Yeah, I mean, just because you don't like what somebody's saying, it's man's inhumanity to man on full display.
Well, and that's the thing. Like he invited people to just talk. It's not like he's up here just like going to an auditorium or somewhere on campus and just presenting a message, and then he leaves. He invites people to talk and
It's a dialogue.
and have a conversation and have an open conversation that everybody can see, everybody can bring their side of the story and talk about it. And it's just so sad to me that like everybody should walk away from that conversation. Okay. And today he didn't.
And where were you?
I was here. I was in the office today. And I think last week I mentioned, cause we were talking about, distractions, and we've talked about noise and things like that. So I've taken a step back of looking at my phone so often, because I would have probably seen this way earlier, but Amy texted me, and I was at like 3:30, and I was like, wow, like I just thought, I was like, oh, okay, he got shot.
He'll be okay.
I'm sure he's fine, and then I pulled up Twitter, and like it was the first post on there, and I saw it, and it's
graphic.
I do not recommend looking it up. Don't try to look for it. I didn't want to see it, and I just saw it, and it's very disturbing. And I just thought in my head, after I thought, I was like, I don't know how he comes out of that.
And he doesn't.
But then they were saying he's in critical condition, and I was like, holy cow. I was like, this. I was like, we need a miracle. We need a miracle, because after I saw it, I was like, there's no way. There's just no way.
Did he get hit in the head, or where did he get hit?
In the neck. It is jugular. Like you could
Yep.
Man,
I mean, if you are somebody who watches X a lot, and this is going to sound really morbid or inappropriate, you've seen people die before. You know, whether it be a car crash, whether it be, oh, look at this idiot on a mountaintop, and then he falls off the
and
mountaintop.
I always try to like scroll. I don't
Correct.
want to see that stuff. Like I
But
like
this
you
was
know,
maybe it's because I know who he is,
Right.
whatever. But I mean, just the shot and the blood. I mean, it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I've seen some pretty bad things.
yeah, yeah. And it's different from the movie. It's different when it's like a real like man, holy cow.
Yeah.
I am selfishly glad I don't have that vision in my head.
Yeah.
But it sounds
I don't
terrible.
want anybody else to.
I haven't,
pretty
I
bad.
haven't seen it.
It's not. Don't.
And like the part that makes me, I think, the saddest is that it's just gonna create. I mean, I'm sad for his family. I mean, there's a lot of sadness, but like, it's just gonna create more division, more anger, more just more of the black and white sort of, you know, like this side versus that side, and it's just you can't. Somebody said you can't kill somebody just because you don't like who they are or what they say.
You actually shouldn't kill anybody.
Right. Yeah, it's not a can't, but it's a like. But if you want,
Self-defense, maybe.
but if you're like, if whoever did it is thinking like, oh, I'm doing something good, like there's a twisted way that people, I guess, come to their minds that this is somehow I'm gonna do the quote unquote right thing by like assassinating somebody. It's never gonna be. It's never gonna be that.
You took a big inhale, Brian. You want to let it out? You don't have to. I can go from here.
Well, I think these people become almost Rorschach tests or symbols of what's in a person's heart. And, you know, you should be able in this country, really anywhere, but especially in this country, to, again, debate vigorously and be able to go into an arena of ideas and may the best idea win. And I mean, literally to shoot the messenger of ideas that you don't like is a symptom of the brokenness and the toxicity of our society. The other side of it, though, is it's man's inhumanity to man just continuing, and you know, we just have more cameras today. This has always been going on, and it is heartbreaking to see it in as vivid detail as we did, but it continues to be a symptom of how fallen we are as a race. And but yeah, to your point, Chris, it's not going to do any good. It's going to just do
Right. It's not going to bring, 9/11. That's the anniversary's tomorrow.
Right.
For a 3-minute moment, it brought us all together.
Yeah.
We didn't get 3 minutes today. So I was overwhelmed and sad. Still am. And it was really weird because I was with Joe, so you have to be the dad, and then you get in the car and you're processing. And it was funny when Rachel walked in, she didn't even know because she went from school to the gym. And in talking to her, like, I started to choke up. And I was like, well, she doesn't want this either. So, horse up, dude. But the word sad keeps coming to mind. And I liken back to COVID when I would say, what they're doing. And they're the ones that are doing this. And I finally had to come to the conclusion, they was Satan. They was the enemy. Mm-hmm. And he was using COVID to divide families, churches, schools, couples. It was a tool of his division. And so I looked at it today and I was like, it's the same thing. I mean, John 10:10. Go ahead, Brian.
No, Satan has. I want to write a book someday. He's got 7 plays in his playbook. 7 plays, and it's the same. It's like a good offensive coordinator will have 5 plays in his playbook and just have a bunch of variations, right? And that's what Satan from as old as time. And it's just it's boring and it's old, but at the same time, it's so effective.
So I agree. Thank you for that. And, I know that nobody sits at the table with us and says, you know what? I want to hear some hard-hitting political analysis. That's not why people sit here.
But you were going to also quote the Bible, which I think you should. John 10:10, a thief.
Go ahead. You can do it.
Yeah, he's a thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come that you may have life and have it abundantly. And I always want, every time we talk about the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, I don't want to leave it at that. Because
I
that's
come
very...
that they may have life and life to the fullest.
Yes.
Jesus, by the way, not you.
Jesus, yes, not me.
Yeah.
He uses us, though, to do that.
Yeah, he
That's
can't-
another
he
story.
But Amy and I talked about that like before tonight while we were waiting for you guys to get here, and I was like, I can't, like, it's hard to process, just, but, God let this happen, and
He grieves alongside.
he grieves alongside, and there's got to be something that he's going to do with this that's going to be good.
Well,
That's what I'm hoping for.
if we break that down, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Steals our security, steals our peace in this moment, steals a life. Kill, well, certainly,
Literally.
yeah, and destroy relationships, and destroy maybe a country, and maybe more than that. But no, I mean, Jesus came that they may have life and life to the fullest. So I had to ask myself, not just how did we get here, but who, as I came to the conclusion of, no, this is real, this is physical, this is, all those things. But where's the evil component more than just a murder? And I thought, okay, it could be a radical leftist person who hates his conservative viewpoints, views them as dangerous. That's the rhetoric they use. They're literally Nazis. They're literally Hitler. It's dangerous. And MSNBC came out and said immediately, well, when you use violent language and you stand but for violent principles, it's going to beget violent actions. That's what an MSNBC host said about today. Now, they've since apologized, so it makes it okay.
That's fine. Great.
So it could be a radical liberal person who hates Charlie Kirk and hates the conservative movement. I've heard people say the reason why he's killed is not because of his views, but because he's effective, because he's going into the belly of the beast, the college campus, and he's effective with young people. Could be. But you know what else it could be? It could be the deep state. It could be the deep state that wants to further sow division in our country and to inflame it and to cause riots so that, guess what? They could have martial law. It could be that. But then there's talks of, hey, it's 200 yards away from a perch. Now, I've already heard people say, that's not that big of a shot. And I've heard people say, oh, that is a big shot. It could very easily be a foreign entity who's trying to destroy America. And they're trying to divide us all in that regard. And I came to the conclusion, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's the enemy behind all of it, no matter which one of those it is.
Right.
And for that matter, it could be a deep state liberal person from another country. What is the effect of it? We get driven further and further apart. And so as we process this, and so that's, by the way, that's my political analysis. Any one of those three people could have done it, whatever. If you have another theory, that's great. But I know that the enemy's behind.
Right.
How does this apply to us at the table? Because we're a podcast about relationships. We're a podcast about loving one another. And what I want to say, and it's a little soapboxy, I'll tell you who didn't do it. Your liberal friend didn't do this. Just like your conservative friend didn't firebomb an abortion clinic. Like, that's not who we are. Just because somebody voted one way doesn't mean they ascribe to all of the things.
Right.
But what the enemy wants you to do is now cut ties. If you think it was a liberal person that did it, well, then they're the worst. And I can't stand them, and now I draw the line.
And at the very least, sorry to interject,
Please do. I'm soapboxing.
it's like if you're now angry at that, or just you're angry in general, then, oh, you have that liberal friend. Now there's an argument that happens just because, like, emotions are spiked or whatever. I'm saying it's a slippery slope. It's so easy for it to happen.
It's another tool of the enemy that we attribute the worst of one side to all on that side. And the fact that there are sides. Go ahead, you took a beat.
Well, it's I don't want to say it's just another piece of ammunition, but for those of us that have been alive now for the past 50 years, especially the past 10 years, 15 years, and as we've been further and further and further divided, there's these events that happen for sure that crystallize things in ways that are glaring. But it's also been a daily, multiple times a day march towards something like this, where you just see somebody's post and it's a little off, but it kind of pisses you off a bit. And it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And so this is just another large piece of fuel on the fire it's what we've been talking about this entire podcast. It's a hurt that is now, if we don't talk about it and if we don't deal with this in the proper way, it's going to continue to hurt us. It's going to continue to hurt other people. Yeah.
And the enemy will continue to use that hurt
and all the past hurts
to manipulate you.
Yeah.
So, I want to further, we are involved in a spiritual battle that created before any of us ever existed. It is an eternal spiritual battle between God and his fallen angels and ultimately the enemy. And so he sent his son Jesus to redeem us, to reconcile us back to him. And the enemy will do anything he can to divide, destroy, and kill those relationships.
Mm-hmm. Separate.
And so he's going to inflame, and I've already seen it. You have people on the left celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. Celebrating. We've all seen it.
Yeah.
But I've also already seen people on the right. This is it. This is the line in the sand.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't radicalize you, nothing will. Mm-hmm. And so once again, if you're lumping everybody in with everybody,
right.
Somebody knows how you vote. Oh, you're one of them now, and so I'm cutting that off. I can't have that relationship. It becomes the more important conversation then. We're not talking about, man, my sin really separates me from God. Nobody's talking about that. We're being led around and distracted by that.
Huge distraction.
And I want to go, excuse me. The whole thing just stinks. And I mean, like, it stinks of something the enemy would do and use.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, and I was almost going to, I was taking my notes and I was going to say it wasn't enlist aggressive conservative person or controversial conservative person or one of the got you conservative people. It was a gentle, calm person. Not the person you would think would have a target over their head.
But he was effective.
He was effective. That's
effective.
a valid counter argument to that. So my point is, those who disagree with you are not the radical side of that. Arguably, nobody you know is very excited that Charlie Kirk was killed. And nobody you know is starting a militia tomorrow to take back the country.
Right.
But it's very easy to assign that to anyone who disagrees with you.
Yep.
And the enemy further wins. The next sermon series we're doing is on Colossians. And it has a very controversial scripture verse in there, which is, slaves, obey your earthly masters. And in this day and age, to look at that, I mean, that's condoning slavery. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, it's so important that people explain to somebody else and display the embodiment of Jesus Christ in a person here on earth. So slave, win over your slave master. It's more important than that. And this whole world is more important than politics. It's more important than the things that divide us. And today was an attack on all of that and brought all the things that divide us to the forefront. And absolutely, on the one hand, shatters my heart in many ways, but also gets me more committed to the ministry of reconciliation and not allowing those things to divide the people, at least that I know.
The real mission.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I had in regards to all of that. I don't necessarily want to transition to the topic. I think we can save that for another day.
Sure.
But let's not reconcile this podcast. But one thing we forgot to mention last week was Dan Leopold talking about distractions. Dan sits with us at the table.
Love Dan. I've always, whenever like people reply and we get a Dan Leopold reply,
And I left it. Well, he did reply late, but not
it's
after
fine.
the podcast.
But whenever we get one, I look forward to it.
So-
it's always a good one.
Chris, would you read Dan's point on distractions? Which, man, that is so apropos.
Dan says, I think what distracts us the most is our jobs. Since I just retired
And we celebrate that with him from a long teaching career.
Right? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Since I just retired and have stopped doing that job thing, I've really started to see all the stuff I've been too distracted to notice. For example, I love when he gets poetic. How blades of grass gently move as a locust emerges from the lawn. How often an old person attempts to make eye contact with you at the grocery store so you can exchange a simple hello and maybe chat about the price of meat or exchange a recipe. How the changing sun angle illuminates different parts of a forest. That's a good one. How well people drive on a random Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. How wasps, yes, I hate them, follow tree lines, fences, and paths to find their way back to their hive. Jobs, the ultimate distraction, rob us of noticing the magical world that we live in, distract us from seeing the good, confuse us about what is important, and make time tick away quite fast. In closing, life moves pretty fast. This is a quote. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Ferris Bueller, 1986-ish.
Wise words from Dan Leopold.
Yep.
And I would say that of distractions. Yeah, I inherently don't agree with him on jobs,
Yeah.
but he comes from a different perspective. You know, he's not inherently trying to win people over for Christ. But man, looking at life, letting it slow down is an absolutely wonderful reminder. But Dan also posted something else.
Do tell.
It's his annual birthday list. He posted it, sent it to me. So I think as people at the table, if, we should share these things. Brian, why don't you read number one?
So these are things Dan would like.
Yeah, you're to send these to him.
Yes, pennies, nickels, and dimes minted prior to 1980.
Eric?
Oh, him and Jim Frost.
Yeah. Oof.
A dollar bill minted prior to 1980.
Coke, Orange Fanta, or Sprite in bottles.
Glass bottles. I
I would assume.
She didn't write that.
I would assume glass bottles.
Treated lumber.
Treated lumber.
Any size.
Size.
Shady Maple gift card.
We're not aware of Shady Maple,
Nope.
are we?
I think it's probably a golf course.
Sure. No. I don't know. I don't think so. I think more of
Or
like a country shop.
Spa.
I think
don't
country
know.
shop because whenever we were in Cape May, we had talked about the peanut butter and how their peanut butter in that Cape May store ruined all peanut butter for them. So I think it might be a maple syrup shop. That's what I'm going with.
Oh, maybe that was the one. We did go to a maple syrup shop down there.
Vegetable seeds.
Flower seeds, perennial and annual.
A Congress Hall, which is in Cape May, gift card.
Toilet paper.
Practical.
I mean, why not?
Vintage, mid-century, modern glassware.
Ooh, my wife would like that. Purple Fiesta wear.
Pittsburgh Pirate baseball cards.
Size 14 new Nike Torch 4 anthracite shoes.
Greenie cat treats.
Original beer nuts.
A rock of any size and make.
Calcite.
Oh, that's
For you to buy my children's book on the Amazon.
The Amazon.
I bought it. It's a great book.
What's it called?
Ray and something. His two cat. It's a cat and a chipmunk.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it. Yeah.
Ray and if you look up Dan Leopold while we're finishing this up, Eric, I'm sure you could announce it before we're done. Ray and blank.
and finally, windshield wiper fluid, the blue kind, the blue stuff.
Yeah, so you need to give the gifts to Nick Tier at the 9th grade center. That's going to be a problem for us, but if any of you want to get any of these items and you send them to us, we'll get them to Dan and celebrate his birthday. We will do that for sure. The book name is The Adventures of Ray the Kitten.
Boom.
So look it up and buy it. Give it to somebody. Put it in a community library, like one of those free libraries.
Well, it's a children's book, so I'll buy it.
Oh, yeah.
I can read it to Maggie.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Dan.
So, yes, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that was a fantastic way to end episode 296. Please join us next week, Wednesday evening, around 8:30ish, live for episode 297. Between now and then, give us a like or follow on social media, visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, take our relational needs questionnaire. Thanks, as always, for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
See you next week.
Peace.
Bye.